So yeah, I don't know. I part of it again, they paint themselves into a corner. There's certain people who've said enough is enough. Let's get out of the corner and let's do what we need to do. So yeah,
Can I comment on that real quick?
of
I
course you
think, and
can.
not to cut anybody off, just real quick on Alexi's point, like they are listening to these talks, no matter what we want to say or do. Like this is why it's good to have it all funneled into one area, and so it's good to have these talks. But to that point, it's great to make sure that the talks explore new ideas, and you allow that in your discussions, because like then if let's say someone's listening and determining their level of disclosure potency on the knowledge of the public or curiosity level of the public, or if the public's ready for certain information, so talk about stuff, make sure you get weird with it and make a safe space so people can explore these topics to the fullest degree. Of course there's always going to be things that are off topic, but you know what I mean, when it comes down to physics and the what ifs, I know that we need to solidify our study here in science and stuff, but I find it often that people aren't really considering that science evolves because we realize we didn't know shit. That's the one true thing about science. And eventually we realized that was all laughable. Everything we thought was super solid is now laughable. And that's cool. So we could be on the cusp of something like that. And what I find interesting is in this field, people like to talk about all the things they know about physics and limit the discussions about the what ifs, because they're saying that's not possible, or you know how much energy it would take to open up a portal? No, do you? There's just a lot of things that I find really interesting in the discussion. So I think making sure that you can create a safe space to get weird with it is going to help, especially if they're listening. So
Yeah, I agree that like I'm not the science person. I'm not Mr. Wizard. Like my eyes gloss over. I barely know 2 plus 2. So yeah, I'm a college failure. Not really, but I did have a career in healthcare. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, science will eventually catch up. It's going to be interesting to see how Gary Nolan is looked at by his peers and how that whole progression. I mean, I've known about Gary since 2018 and have had discussions with him since 2018, and he's always been on the up and up. I've never had bad experience with Gary, and honestly, I think he's going to lead us to the promised land. And I know people say I'm part of the UFO cult. Then I guess, God damn it, I'll be part of a UFO cult because he's a fucking amazing leader. That guy, again, eventually, when I feel comfortable, I'll share with everybody how good of a relationship him and I had, to the point where he offered something that it was like I didn't know what to do. So I'll leave it at that. And I know I'm being kind of evasive, but I just don't want to blow up his space. I've already pissed him off once in my life, and I don't want to piss him off again. So I'll just leave him be. But he's an awesome human being, and for people who think that he's just full of shit, you're wrong. And two, you're wrong. So we'll go to info, and then Alien Girl, and then Deshane.
Yeah, dude, you guys been talking about some cool stuff. What I was going to say is the government's a slave to commerce, and that's not conspiratorial. That's like party to party. With that being said, COVID did throw a wrench in like the extent to which they're distributing information. And why I say that is everybody kind of said something that's right here. Like everything is recorded. You could tell if you break off your Wi-Fi or your AirPods, you will hear what happened 5 seconds before, even on a non-recorded space. But that doesn't mean the government cares what we say in here. And if they are listening, they just figured out your plan just to be funny with you two guys. We're all gonna be nice for you. No, I just being funny.
For full transparency, last summer we had a quote unquote invasion of Russian and Chinese assets. And you don't want to believe me, you don't have to. But they came to UFO Twitter and they contacted various researchers to try to gauge what they know or what they don't know. It's very strange.
And I went through it.
So
Chinese kids were coming to my Twitter. People that know me know I was sending them to be careful of what you say on what. Because I mean, and I'm related to a lot of people from Moscow that are like tied to different countries now, and so I have a personal paranoia about that. But so I'm with you, dude. But these spaces, they're also a small data set. in the scale of global commerce. And so when it comes to disclosure, the thing I wanted to mention here is that they're having huge problems with the FAA right now. A lot of flights are getting canceled, not for anything nefarious right now, but because there's such a work fatigue. And even some days, the flight towers have a whole either a strike or the men don't show up. And this is actually being slightly covered up, but you could really research it for yourself with major.coms. So I think that they're trying to take it a little slower now, where they were like full send before, only to protect different industries that are starting to infrastructurally kind of falter for a little bit. And then really quick, I'll finish with Old Vet. There's a great show about how DARPA is actively working on kind of like getting in between the neuron that would cause PTSD and get soldiers back out in the field. It's not even okay, really, but they're also, it's like a counter program to the how long it'll take for CRISPR to be active. And the show I would give you for an analogy on there is on Prime, called Homecoming with Julia Roberts. So check that out, guys, because that actually even ties into UFO stuff.
I tried. I can't watch it.
Yeah, sorry, but that's really actively
no,
in that
right,
research
it's good,
program.
But I can't. I cry the whole time. So yeah, no, you're right, bro.
Yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, Chris, to back you up, dude, like everybody here is awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, and then yeah, just pay attention to your local commerce and our active government without having any kind of biased view on it, because that influences, like, they just want to release it and keep things relaxed. And then finally, with the secrets, since the original OGs of the OSS, from Colby to the man in my picture right here, James Angleton, like, we have always been way ahead on the secrets to support Chris. And not everybody has a leaker, not to go against Chris, but dude, the example I'll give there is the NSA has like 50,000 fucking employees, and Mossad has employees here within the United States. You never know, they could be your local teachers. So just yeah, when it comes to information distribution, it could be 70 years ahead of you, and it's because the governments work on a century timetable. They don't work on you, capital Y. They work on us, capital U, and then they work on them, capital T. So you have to really be aware of that, or else you're kind of being counterproductive to your own research. So I just wanted to say all that to help. I'm sorry I was long.
Yeah, I mean, listen, FAA's got issues also because I think they put an age restriction to pilots too. I think it's over 60. You have to retire. It's mandatory retirement, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Yeah, I don't fly. I hate the TSA. I hate to go through the TSA. I don't hate them in the sense like I wish they would be abolished, but I just hate the process of having to go through security. And yes, I want flights safe. I do. I just hate going and doing that, taking off my shoes and being like a
pop
cattle.
some eddies before, Chris. You'll be all right.
Yo, I just guys, sorry, Chris, but just to make you laugh, dude, they're hiding how much pilots they had to fire for drinking.
Well, yeah, I mean, hello. I mean, when I lived in another part of Michigan, there was a in my subdivision, there was a pilot for Delta way back in the day, and he was tipping back a lot of alcohol in that time frame, and I always wondered like if he was going to go fly, and it's like, oh my god, I don't. Well, whatever. That's a whole nother discussion. Amy, and then we'll go to Shane.
Awesome, thank you. So there's been a discussion here as I've been sitting back and I've been listening, especially Twitter. And the question is, are they listening? And they are listening. They're listening to these Twitter spaces. Trust me, the disclosure movement is being listened to. And actually, a lot of people are like, well, why are girls so, not like, why are there not that many girls? And I think a lot of the reason there aren't too many women is because there is sort of this feeling of safety when you push back against it. And so, yeah, I know they're listening. They're listening. They're keeping a pulse on what we're doing next. And I think it's you can just kind of look at some stuff that's going on. So anyway, yeah, media control, that's definitely happening all over the board. And I just feel like we're really lucky to have these spaces to discuss, because one thing that I really like about studying ufology and pushing for it is I also feel like it's fringe onto what like freedom of speech is, because it seems like once people start talking about UFOs more and more, the next thing that tends to happen is either we're censoring ourselves or we're being censored by something. So that brings me to the question that some of you are asking as well, which is, does the government know, right? Does the government know? And looking at the way it's set up with the UAP hearing that they had on in Congress, right? It looks like they don't know. But what I think's really going on is there are some black operation, deep layers to all of this.
Amy, the government cut you out. They said, thou shalt not talk about the government. Hello? Did I lose everybody? Did the government cut off?
I can hear you.
I can still hear. I think
Lost
she lost. I think we lost her.
The government cut us off. Thou shalt not talk about the government. They did it again. Hello?
I can hear you.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about
Amy?
that. All right.
All right.
You can hear me? You want me to
Shane,
speak?
we'll go to you, and then we'll go to Thomas next.
Okay. So what I was going to say is, yes, you should see Homecoming. I have my own reasons I can't. And on top of that, I don't ever plug anything. Wounded Warrior, if you can, drop some money there. They saved my life back in 2019, man. So, but what I was going to mention is, on the subject, UFO teamwork makes the dream work. I saw something the other day made my skin crawl, man. Somebody took someone, a doctor who was in this field who works, I don't want to say her name, took 4 different pictures throughout her career and asked, is this the same person? Right? And all I could think was, how disgusting.
What do you want?
You know, because...
Yeah, go ask Sissy Nice for more chippies.
Chippies?
Sorry.
You're all right, brother.
Sorry.
No, you're all right. Anyway, so they posted, it's just a series of photos and asking if it's the same person. Obviously, you know, making comment about whatever, and I don't want to say names. And I was about to say something, but that interaction would have just helped at whatever thread, right? That's the kind of shit I don't understand. I get healthy debate, but, you know, some of the personal attacks are beyond even just, I mean, holy shit. And it goes both ways. I'm not saying it's one coming this way, because I see some crazy shit out here, right? And I'm not trying to, I'm part of the problem too, but when I saw that last night, I thought, how disgusting, you know? All I could think is, you know, and this woman actually reached out to me at one point when I was going through some shit. I'd withdrawn so far from UFO Twitter, from everything. She reached out and shit, it's going to give her away. Invited me to her class, right? Which pulled me right back in again. I hadn't talked to anybody in like 3 or 4 weeks. I was going through some shit. So it kind of irritated me a little bit, right? So that's the stuff I don't get. And I can get healthy debate, but some of this goes beyond that. And it's just, it makes us look like a bunch of high school idiots instead of the people who really brought this to the attention. And I'm not one of them. I'm new here, but UFO Twitter is the reason this shit's happening.
Yeah, Shane, there's actually some debate. There's some people that were trying to say that we had no influence on anything, and I can tell you that's absolutely incorrect, that we definitely make a difference. It's not like we're pounding down the door, but we definitely make an impact to the point where there's government people, and you know, I'll take that back. There's congressional people and senators that are taking notice of what we're doing. So I'll leave it at that. And Mike, you have your hand up.
I don't know if Tom Whitmore wanted to speak.
Oh, sorry.
We're talking about Tom. Tom, I met you once. Cool dude.
Thank you. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Listen, I think about all this disclosure, I think maybe there's a lot of naivete, because it's going to take more than a congressional hearing. It's going to take a serious congressional investigation on the level of the Church Committee, or the committee that investigated the assassination of President Kennedy. And they would have to call witnesses. They would have to swear them to tell the truth, and they would have to dig and dig and dig until they get to the bottom of this. And I'm not sure they have the political will to do that. And what will probably happen is they can have a group in the DoD and have NASA investigate and report their findings, you know, like the speed and the appearance of the objects. And they say, well, we don't know what it is. And basically leave it at that.
Tom, are you aware, were you in here before, where I can speak confidently about this? They have found a crash retrieval program. They have found it. I know this for a fact. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass or anybody else's ass in here. They found the program. Again, I don't know how they're going to exploit that, how to bring it out from the dungeon darkness tour that's going on for the last 7 years. I don't know how they're going to bring that out. I don't know how those things work. I would imagine there's going to be, like George Knapp has always maintained, the closer we get to the goodies, the harder the pushback is going to be. So the fact that on this program, I would gather to say that we haven't seen anything yet with regards to pushback. And that's not just, and I guess this is a pet peeve of mine when people say the government. It's not so much the government. It's the people who are in the know go out of the way to obfuscate. I can't even talk, to make it have roadblocks. All right, I can't articulate what I'm trying to say, but they put roadblocks in our way for Lou Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, or Sean Cahill, or even Gary Nolan. And I'm just waiting for that other shoe to drop, or the fact that the Wilson notes will provide a roadmap on how to break the secrecy. Maybe that was the key. Maybe that was the trump card. I would like to think that's the case. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't think ultimately we're going to be told everything. If you think we're going to be told everything, you're just delusional. I think they'll admit that we're not alone, that yes, they've known about this. And listen, I know there's some old timers here. Thomas, you yourself have been around in this game for a long time, and you're pretty upset. Not so much you, but people of your ilk are upset that the government's kind of awash in everything from like the 40s on, and or from ATEP backwards. And there is a reason behind that, because they don't want to have to bring up all that stuff. Hold on, I gotta talk to my son real quick. So,
real quick, Chris, I gotta take off. I just want to say, what's up, Thomas? Thanks for all the kind words, everybody. I'll be back on as soon as I can. But this has been great, Chris. You're a huge asset to this community hosting.
Stop it! No, I'm not. I'm a nobody.
Okay,
thank you, Chris. You reached out to me whenever I needed some shit. So yeah, you're a good dude, bro.
Dude, Chris, what's up to Lou down there? I see Lou. Okay, peace out, guys.
Chris, I agree with everything you say. I've got to go. Thank you for letting me talk. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Hold on one second, guys. All right. My son found some chips.
I think Henchman Mike has his hand up. If you want to maybe let him go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so I think something that we're seeing here, and I think this has been floated by a few people in the community. One gentleman that I used to follow, Open Minds Forum, which is not a place I recommend anyone go, but it's a forum run by Dan Smith, who his father was an advisor to like Eisenhower when he was president. I think it was like a commerce advisor, but he runs around with a certain gentleman named Pon Randolphi. I'm sure we can all figure out who that is, and who's used to run the weird desk for the CIA. And something they always talk about, and if you read in between the lines, is this Alice in Wonderland's nonsense that goes on. But they talk about acclimatization, right? So, and I think the steps that you can't just go from making a topic, alienating it and making it stigmatized to just disclosure, right? I think there needs to be this process of acclimatization so that people can become accustomed to the idea of being more legitimate. So I think what we're seeing now is that process happening. I think we're kind of in that process. I don't know what the cycle or how long the cycle of that process is, but it's relatively, I think when people are arguing what you're going to know, it's not something that they're just going to come out and play the cards for you. If you listen to all the people, all the experiencers, people with sightings, whistleblowers, there is something behind this that is not positive. I'm not going to say it's negative, right? There's a lot of interesting stuff with consciousness, with dimensionality that comes with it. But I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a good thing. I don't know if the entire economy would crash if they just let all of it out. But there is that international aspect that plays into it. So I think, people thinking disclosures around the corner, I think, it could be, right? Like, I'm not saying it's not, but I just think that process is going to be a lot longer than we think. And then what kind of information would even come out? Are people prepared to realize that they're not going to know, like, the full truth in their entire lifetime? Like, I hate to be, bursting people's bubbles, but it's just, I don't know what they would be willing to tell. And if they were willing to tell us, how much of it would be true. There's definitely the aspect of slipping in misinformation into legitimate information so that you can slowly get people accustomed to it.
Wouldn't it be some shit if they just came out and said, all we're dealing with is extraterrestrials and show us like a sport model and then that's it, and then really we're dealing with multiple things, and then they try to play it off as like, yeah, see, it's just E.T., that cute little cuddly guy, but nothing else. The elves that you've seen, nope, that's all in your head. So I do wonder if they're going to pull something like that. I don't know.
I really don't think they're going to. Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry. I think the nuts and bolts naturally leads into those other things because I think it just opens up too many questions for people to not explore. I think it just by nature of its existence, naturally leads to the next thing, which is consciousness and all of those things. You just wanted to hop in with that.
I just wanted to say one more
Thank
thing.
you for that, because that's a segue.
Just so I wanted one more thing to add. I'm sorry. The other thing I wanted to say is this has transited for the American side of it. This used to be in government in the 70s, right? My understanding is that Ed Teller had this, and it kind of got away from him. The program got loose, and now it's in private industry. So even then, we're talking about a lot of this is proprietary to a degree. So that kind of adds another layer.
Yeah, I mean, you have the TRWs, the SAICs, the Lockheed Skunk Works, the Boeing Works. I honestly think they all got parts of the pie. At the end of the day, I'm going to take that to my grave. So yeah. And again, if you look at what SAIC did in the late 80s into the early 90s, they definitely were on some shit. Into anti-gravitic stuff, into cloaking technology, into a lot of other stuff that is on the periphery of UFOs. And then TRW is a good old, nobody talks about TRW, and they really, you need to start focused on them because they're going to be possibly brought to the forefront, but we'll see. I don't know. Shane, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you're damn right that everyone got a piece of that pie in the civilian sector. The only ones that didn't, you go back and look at the company that folded, go have a look. You'll see those are the ones that didn't. The only way you can keep them quiet is you could give everybody a little slice. Now, the other thing I was going to say is, as a completely grounded person who didn't believe in this shit up until I started having experiences, I'm under the impression that unless we have more scientists that are experiencers, I think nuts and bolts will be taken seriously. But the only time people will take, I'm woo as fuck right now, and I'm sorry for my language, but my point is, only as someone that had these kind of experiences, like you, Chris, or like Sean from Just My Video, just this can't, it doesn't make sense, or Josh, all these different people that we know that have had these experiences. It's like, without scientists like Gary who've had experiences, the woo's thick, man. You can almost drown in it.
I think Dean Radin's doing a lot of that kind of stuff as well.
And who's he connected to?
I think he's connected with Pasulka and stuff. So it's, or at least somewhat.
He was, but then he also was connected to Bob Bigelow too. So
I'm not necessarily one to count people out for their connections. I mean, I think as you live, you make connections, right? Just by virtue of being in the topic. I'm not sure that we should necessarily hold that against people. Like people.
No, I'm not holding against anything. I like Bob Bigelow, even with him taking away information from the public. I have no problem with that. He paid for that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I do know that there has been a little bit of controversy about Bigelow lately. But yeah, I personally, I'm not one to necessarily strike against somebody for their guilt by association. Doesn't exist for me, I don't think.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, and again, like Bob Bigelow wants to endorse Ron DeSantis. That's fine. I mean, I'm not a fan of Ron DeSantis. Hello. I don't really care for the guy. I don't live in Florida, thank God.
Hold on.
So whatever, it's cool. Let's go to
right,
Doctor, and then we'll go to Luke.
How are you doing?
And then Paul.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Hello?
Life is interesting.
Is the government messing my space up again?
Did you
They're on to you, Chris.
No, we
I
got
believe it.
Did you want to plan some sort of get together?
Doctor or Luke, speak now
No,
or forever hold your peace. Hello, Luke.
Yeah.
Hey,
Doctor.
sorry guys, I fat thumbed earlier. I'm at work, so I really can't talk. I do want to thank Chris though while I'm on here for hosting the space. You guys have opened my eyes up on a lot of things. I've only been experienced for the last 2 years, but I do think we need to keep the peace. I was just as guilty as anybody for the trolling, but that's because I was getting triggered by a lot of the guys that are just relentless. I've since blocked them off, and I want to move this ball forward. So thank you.
Dr. Argon, man, go weld your stuff. I know you're at work. What are you using? TIG, MIG? What are you doing? Stick?
No, man, I TIG aluminum.
Cool. Okay.
Righteous, man.
Awesome.
Have a good day, man. Glad to see you.
Okay. If anybody wants to speak, raise your hand. I'll let you in, but I'm going to have to be cutting this short here in a little bit because my minions are starting to get aggravated with old dad not paying attention to them. So if you want to make a comment or a question or a diatribe, go right ahead.
I got something, Chris.
All right, Shane.
Someone made a comment earlier about they were possibly talking about the report from Congress saying that I guess experiences whatever sightings exponentially. Now, from I would guess my perspective as an experiencer, and then I've actually talked to multiple, some in Seattle, some close by. I've actually been before that article came out. It's funny. There's recorded spaces with me saying, "Man, this shit's going off the hook exponentially." Like the amount of stuff that I'm now witnessing, recording, my family, you're seeing now. I mean, heck, I live in Hanford, which is the nuclear site, so another nuke connection, right? And Tri-Cities, which is right there, just came out with an article verifying it, so validating everything I've been experiencing. Feel like I've been going crazy for 2 years. Someone on Hanford experienced it once that I've been experiencing all that stuff, right? So, yeah, right now, I feel, and I just for some reason it's like it's going off the hook. It's almost like they're trying to show us, tell us something. You know, we're probably burning the world down.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm of the notion that the phenomenon lies to people all the time. And another thing I don't understand is when you mention Jesus or God in an abduction event and you mention their name, it stops. It's very, and not every case, not every abduction. I mean, shit, I prayed to, I don't really believe in God, but I prayed to God and asked it to stop for my kids' sake, and it didn't work. So whatever. Maybe God doesn't like me. That's cool. Not a fan of his either. So no offense, anybody. Sorry. Zork, and then Zork. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just noticed that Lou is here. Can we bring him up here? I'd like to hear his comments.
Let's see if he wants to. I'm not going to put him on the spot. I don't want to aggravate. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. That's fine. We're not going to make anybody do what they don't want to do.
I got a question for you, Chris.
Yes.
So do you think that, so for me, I have a feeling that, yeah, we may have what we have, disclosures happened, right? I don't think full disclosure is going to happen in my head until whatever it is decides it wants to. Because again, this is something that can keep itself hidden and chooses to show itself. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, we'll go here in the house through long droughts of nothing happening. And then for whatever reason, we'll go through long periods of time where just crazy stuff is happening. Never to the point where I'm seeing a craft. Obviously, I have seen crafts, but not in these experiences in my house. I don't know. It's like it's that trickster part, that happens, and I don't know if like they think it's funny to mess with us. I don't know. I mean, maybe if you're invisible and you could be invisible, that would be fun. But it just gets tiring. And like with my daughter, she's just over it, and she's just accepted it, moved on, and thank God for her. It's not as traumatic as it once was.
Can I say
And
one more thing to
yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Exactly what you just said. So one of the reasons I feel they resonate with me is I often joke it feels like there's just a drunk alien Bork up in the craft, wasted, just saying let's fuck with this dude, you know, just weird stuff like that, trickster type stuff, and I can see that because you can spend hours. I'd spend hours outside trying to record nothing, and then as soon as I start to go inside, they're there, or I walk outside, they're there day after day. Just stupid stuff that just feels just exactly like that.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. There's not, in my opinion, there's not been a really good study as to why it chooses to show itself in certain ways. Whether what you and I were saying, like when you're researching, you just open up a book and it leads you right to the answer that you're looking for, or the person that I'm on the phone with last summer with UFO Satan, and then the UFO game that I bought for my kids for during a garage sale event last summer, like it was possessed, making all kinds of noises to the point where UFO Satan could hear it through the phone. And like it's not, and it, by the way, it had no batteries in it too, so that's pretty wild. But it's, I don't know. I mean, part of it is I'm glad that I don't have any more experiences with quote unquote what people would call aliens, because that really, I can't do that shit anymore. I'm too old. I'm 42 years old. I can't do that. It scares the crap out of me even to this day. I don't like looking at Whitley Strieber's book Communion or the Blu-ray I have. And I apologize if anybody's hearing my kids kill each other outside, but
Do you have any advice for people who are experiencing
um,
entities or aliens?
try to ignore it. To be honest, try to ignore it if it's really affecting you and it's taking a toll on you. Ignore it. Step away from social media, because honestly, I'll say this till I die. The more you look into the subject, it will peer back at you, and sometimes it'll just reach out and grab you. And I know some people say, "What are you talking about, Chris?" But ask around, ask your friends, ask your colleagues, and they'll tell you the same damn thing. But for whatever reason, when you peer into this abyss, it grabs a hold of you and pulls you away and does stuff to you. I don't know why that is. Maybe it maybe it needs all that attention. I don't know. I really don't know.
I
Lou,
agree with
what's
that.
up? Oh, I'm sorry, Shane. Lou, you're up.
Yeah, no, somebody asked me to come up here to comment on something.
Hi, Lou.
So I'm just here to answer anyone's questions if anybody's got a question. I know you don't have a lot of time, but I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, listen, we may not see eye to eye. I'm trying to be better. And you may not believe that. That's fine. That's your prerogative.
May I ask real quickly though? You could understand though why I wouldn't believe that, right?
No, I get that. I mean, listen, it's just like with my relationship with John Greenwald. I tried to bury the hatchet. I did bury the hatchet, and then he basically destroys that. And with you
Well,
and I, it
may
was
I
a
say?
lot.
But I'm sorry. May I just comment on that?
Yep.
I'll just say that exact same thing happened with us, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not that we destroy it; it's that we share an opinion that you vehemently disagree with, and then you destroy it.
Well, listen, I guess at the end of the day, there's just going to be disagreement, and it doesn't
I
mean.
understand. I understand civil disagreement. I
Yep.
understand civil discord. The things that you've expressed and the things that you've said about me, I've never ever once publicly in any form have ever said about you, ever. And I challenge anyone to find anything that I've said up until today, because I've been attacked relentlessly by you and UFO Joe and a whole consortium of folks. And every time I ask you questions like this, it's always, oh, well, we're going to disagree. This is not disagreeing. This is attacking. This is not civil discord. This is, I don't like your opinion. Therefore, I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to be civil with you. And to me, sir, that is an amazing disservice to everything that everyone's trying to do here.
Well, I would argue that you and your show don't want what I want and what Richard wants or what Mike wants or what Shane wants, or there's a lot of people here. We all want something, and that is disclosure.
May I ask, what do you think our show...
Hold on.
No, I just simply ask, what do you think our show wants?
You ask questions, and that's fine, but then it gets to the point where, like, where you attack the person.
Who specifically?
Lou Elizondo. With
how did I attack specifically Lou Elizondo?
Because you go on and on with this anonymous account thing, and it's like, dude, give it up. It's water under the bridge. Move on. You're disappointed. Okay. We all get that.
May I address that?
Go ahead.
Okay, today we're going to do our 495th show. We've done 2 shows that have focused primarily on the discussion of sock puppet accounts and the questionable behavior of a veteran and a member of the United States Space Force and a government employee with top secret clearance using sock puppets to manipulate us, gather information on us, and use that in who knows how, what ways. We've only focused 2 shows on that fact, and you want to stretch it out to we've done it for the last 4 months, and that's just not true. If you've watched our show, that is so inaccurate of a description of what we do. So I just wanted to address that. What else did we do that it destroyed and backstabbed Lou Elizondo? Please explain.
The fact that you're negatively speaking about a guy who's a former CI guy.
So what?
Listen,
just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you're not capable of lying, doesn't mean you're not capable of manipulation, doesn't mean you're not capable of doing really evil shit. And there are good people that go into the military and come out really messed up. And then there are also people that are really messed up that go into the military. Just because you are a veteran does not mean that we're not allowed to hold your feet to the fire and question the things that come out of your mouth. So what do you say to that, sir?
I say this. He had every right to do what he did. He does. Because he literally had Keith Clore go after his daughter. And not many people, I probably shouldn't even say that, but they did. Like Keith Clore, it's fact. Keith Clore used Lou's daughter to try to get to Lou.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. That's fact.
Wait a second.
How is that fact? Tell me how that is fact. How do you know that?
Because the people I run with in circles told me that. Okay? And they
Christopher, I'm sorry. The people you run with in circles is not a good enough of a source to make a claim like that. And if it's not been, hold on, sir, please let me finish. If it's not been publicly done, then there's no good reason. That's not a good enough reason for someone with a blue check mark and the leadership qualities that he espouses on his own page. That is not the behavior of someone who espouses those beliefs. You're going after a, quote, journalist. And look, I don't like Keith Clore. I don't agree with Keith Clore. But Keith Clore lives in the United States, and Keith Clore is allowed to write whatever he wants to write, however he wants to write it, whoever he wants to write about, whenever he wants to write about it.
Yeah, you should ask Monsanto.
Hold on, sir. Especially when those people are public figures. Now you may continue. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just trying to keep it civil.
I'm keeping it civil, and I'm spouting fact.
No, you're not. You are sputtering.
Keith Clore did not get paid by Monsanto to write positive GMO articles.
This has nothing to do with Monsanto. Nothing. Stop.
I'm trying to show you the ilk of the person. So if that
Christopher,
shows that he's
Christopher,
of that ilk,
the ilk of the person does not matter. They still have the right to express themselves. That's what you're not understanding. And that is what Lou Elizondo is not understanding. The more you manipulate people like that with sock puppet accounts, the more you try to block freedom of thought and expression, the more ridiculous you sound. I don't like Keith Clore, therefore, Keith Clore's not allowed to talk. I don't like the documentary Who's Lou, therefore, I'm going to try and block that documentary. Why not just ignore it?
Hello.
Ignore the documentary.
Hey, how you doing?
Ignore Keith Clore. Do not
Good.
manipulate and try to do things that limit their speech. You should welcome those people into the spotlight, and you should welcome those people onto the soapbox, Christopher.
I will never, ever fucking like Keith Clore, and I will never give him a
I'm not,
soapbox.
Chris. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Because
I'm
you're
not
allowing.
asking you,
Hold on,
sir.
hold on.
No, sir. Let me address
This is my
that.
fucking
I am not.
space, okay? I want to speak right now, God damn it, and I'm gonna fucking speak.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Emotional Christopher.
Hey guys, teamwork makes the dream work is the title of the space.
Just remember who started cursing first.
Who gives a fuck? I can swear all the time. Who cares? Why are you so offended about swearing? Who gives a flying fuck?
I'm trying to keep it civil. And once
I'm
we
not
start
saying
going
fuck
there,
you. Did I say
that's
fuck
when it
you?
loses
No, I did
civility.
not. However, I'm never going to apologize for hating on Keith Clore. The guy's a fucking pure scumbag, straight up.
Christopher, sir, I am not asking you to apologize to Keith Clore. I'm not asking you to like Keith Clore. I'm not asking you to share Keith Clore. All I'm saying is when you attack Keith Clore on his freedom of free thought, you're not
He's a guy
doing what you
who
think you're
literally
doing.
got paid by Monsanto to write pro-GMO articles.
Okay.
Why is this so hard for your brain to
okay.
comprehend?
All
I
right,
don't understand.
Okay, all right, fine. Then let me rebut with this, okay? Why is Lou Elizondo retweeting the attorney of Kyle Rittenhouse?
Who gives a shit?
Okay, so we got to give a shit about Monsanto, but we don't want to give a shit about retweeting an attorney of a guy who crossed state lines with an AR-15 to protect businesses in a black riot that he had no business being at. We're okay with that.
I'm not. Did I say I'm okay with it?
Well, you just said who gives a shit about that?
I don't, because at the end of the day, listen, I'm mission oriented. I don't give a fuck about all this bullshit. I just want my disclosure, God damn it. And if Lou or Sean or Chris or Gary Nolan or anybody else who's working behind the scenes to get this, I will support them. And
no
if
matter
you
what,
be part of a cult,
no matter what,
right? Yeah,
no matter,
Skippy, goddamn right. You want
no
to
matter
know why?
who they associate with,
nobody
no matter
done
how
this at all. Nobody.
Right, I know, man, and I hope everyone can see that as clear as day.
Good. I am a bad guy. I'm the most evilest person in the world. I eat babies for a living. I love to be bad. No, I'm trying to be better. I gave you an opportunity to speak, and listen, we're hashing it out. Okay? Doesn't mean we're going to come and sing Kumbaya and hold hands together.
I'm not asking. I haven't asked for that once. I'm just asking for some rationality and clear thinking.
I did. I'm telling you.
No, you haven't.
Focused.
You haven't.
You cannot be mission focused. That's on you. I don't give a shit.
Mission focus is not pointing out connections to Monsanto.
Yes, it is, because it's showing what kind of person he is.
Well, then, the flip side of that is mission focus is we'll start focusing on tweets from white supremacist people who love AR-15s.
Okay.
Okay. You know, I don't understand how you don't hear yourself right now. I really don't. I don't understand why we can't hold Lou Elizondo. Why nobody can ask him the question.
Because the guy has done nothing wrong.
Why is that his attorney?
Sock puppet accounts. Is that really at the end of the day? Do you honestly think it's okay for people to? And they have gone really deep against him all kinds of the people that were. Listen, I'm just going to say something that's fact. You may going to take a lot of. You're going to take a lot of. What's the word I'm looking for?
Go for it, please. I'm
your
as transparent
Discord
as possible.
allowed all kinds of scumbags to literally make fun of all kinds of stuff with Lou, and he doesn't deserve that. And you were okay with it.
For
You're
example,
okay with it.
use the example. What example?
I delete a lot of those pictures, but if I have to, I can. I'll
so you
post
have
them again.
no examples to prove what you just said about me,
Mike.
And this is the problem.
Please help me out with the fucking Discord and how
Somebody,
crazy
please,
it was in there.
Somebody,
The Discord,
please, in this
the UCR
conversation,
Discord was a
point
shit
out
show.
the example.
I mean, I don't have any examples to bring up right now, but it was a shit show.
What
it really was.
What was?
It was
Your
just. It was
Discord.
an unmoderated Discord. It was just a shit show. And I mean, people liked it, and it was just a shit show.
It literally
I don't know
made
how
people.
it is anymore.
It literally made people extremist.
My
really
Discord,
like
the Discord. Hold on a second. The Discord that I didn't start, the Discord that I don't
but your name
have
was
any control over.
UCR was
that
part
Discord?
of it. Yes or no?
What?
Was UCR part of it? Yes or no? Was your Discord UCR's Discord?
Did we start it? Did we start it? No. Are we a part of it? Yeah. Have we put rules on your complaints? Yes. As soon as you guys started complaining about that, that's when I came in and started going, okay, this is bullshit. We got to fix it. And we did. And now the Discord, nobody's got issues with the Discord anymore. That's we took care of that as soon as you complained about it. So what else? What else do you guys have?
I would argue you didn't take care of it, but whatever. I really don't give a fuck about your Discord.
Somebody
I really don't.
Somebody please go to our Discord and look up any conversations they want. It's public.
Well, by the
Anybody
way,
can
guys,
join.
just because there's always two sides of the story. A lot of what Aaron Desario did is he deleted a lot of the bad shit. So
That's true. Stuff he did.
Yeah. So there's no proof of that.
Right. We deleted a lot of the bad shit as soon as I especially became aware of it. And we put some moderators on the Discord. And we wrote a rules standard for the Discord. We listened to you guys. And then you turn around and you use that as some evil entity when it's nothing like that has come out of the Discord in almost a year.
Well, I'm not there anymore, so I don't really give a fuck.
Well, I know you're not. I know you're not. You just love to throw things out there and then say, I don't care about it anymore. It doesn't matter.
Well, because people don't care. We really don't. We've moved on. I'm trying to move on from you, but I wanted to give you a moment, an opportunity to speak, and it's turned into chaos. But that's okay. That's good, though.
Look,
I like chaos.
This is not, I'm sorry, sir, but I haven't cursed at you. Have I been?
I didn't say fuck you, Lou. I did not say fuck you, Lou. So quit crying about me swearing. Seriously,
all I'm saying,
grow the fuck up.
All I'm saying, sir, is I've addressed you with the utmost respect. Have I been a little animated in this conversation? Sure, because all I've tolerated from you is nothing but attack. And now all of a sudden you want me to be civil. I'm being civil. I'm not cursing. I'm not getting angry. I'm not yelling. I'm not pointing fingers, and I'm not making false accusations like you.
I didn't make that false accusation. Is not a false accusation.
Yes, you have.
Fact.
You didn't.
Fact. Okay.
All I'm.
You don't want to believe it. You don't have to. Just
sir,
like you. Like.
Sir,
no,
sir,
listen. At the end of the day. No, quit saying sir. My name's Chris. Okay.
Chris.
Lou, my name's Chris.
Chris.
Listen. Okay. Keith Clore did that. Straight. Full bar. I know it for a fact.
Lou Elizondo also retweeted a right. Lou, okay, if you're gonna say that, then Lou Elizondo retweeted a white supremacist the other day twice to threaten a journalist. Okay, here's all I'm gonna say.
Greenwald is not a journalist.
Here's all I'm gonna say. Here's all I'm gonna say, Chris.
Star.
Chris. Here's all I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna explain my reasons as to why I made the thumbnail, why I'm as angry as I am, why I feel attacked, why I feel used, manipulated, and sick and tired of the false accusations. I will explain everything in my show today, and I encourage everyone to come. And if after this explanation you think backstabber, you believe everything that Christopher just said about me, God bless you. Please, there are other shows, other things where you guys could feel better and not be challenged on anything. Like, there are so many other avenues for everyone to get what they want out of this discussion. I'm not the leader. I'm not the end all be all. I'm just an actor in LA who loves to talk about UFOs. But God damn it, sometimes I've got some questions, and I am also an experiencer. I have seen this thing firsthand. So I don't need the proof. I'm not trying to be a skeptic. I'm just trying to get people to listen and be rational about things. And
Why don't you just ignore it?
if let me finish, sir. I'm sorry. If I'm going to be accused of being a money grubber and in it for the clicks and in it for the drama, I'm going to show you guys who makes the real money in this conversation and who's protecting narratives and who gets access to all of our heroes. And if after this conversation you hate my guts, you want to unsubscribe and pull your Discord funding, go for it. But my show's free. It has been free. It always will be free. We run off of 100% donations, and anything that you hear past that is bullshit. And that's where I'll end this, sir.
Okay, well, I just had a question. Why don't you just ignore it? Like, don't pay attention to what people are saying. Just like you're telling Chris to ignore
here's
Keith
the
Floor.
thing.
Whoa, I'm not done. I'm not done asking my question yet.
Hold
I
on,
would love to
let him
answer
talk.
that
Hold
question.
on.
Jeez.
I would love to answer the question. That's why I want to answer that question. Okay.
It was a two-parter.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My apologies.
Well, I now forgot the second part.
So I'm sorry. Repeat it again. I've lost. I'm sorry.
I mean, you tell Chris, hey, Keith Floor has a right. He has his First Amendment right to go out and say whatever he wants, publish whatever he wants, attack Lou Elizondo as he wants. Why does Chris not have that same right to say whatever he wants about your show? You know
he
what I
does.
mean? Like, so why can't he? So you're saying don't harass Keith Floor if he expresses himself, but if Chris expresses himself about UCR, he gets attacked.
Here's the difference. Okay, is for the last year and a half, I have been doing hundreds and hundreds of hours of activism work, organization, grassroots movement to pull the community together. And for the last year, I've been attacked for my greed, my clicks, being in this for the wrong reasons constantly, not just by Chris Wolford, by UAP Mike, by Witness Citizen, by UFO Joe, and a whole bunch. Like I said, I will lay out all of this for you guys in my show. Okay. You can express whatever you want about me, but when I support you guys, when I put all my money, my time, my social media attention to support and uplift your work and not answer these attacks and take the high ground and ignore and ignore and ignore. And I do all of this work on my end to promote this, I think, wonderful event that helps everyone in this conversation that's actually looking for real answers. And what am I met with? I'm met with personal attacks. It's in it for the clicks. This is not real activism. I'm a one-day activist. And they have silently and very loudly destroyed the big phone home and what it was supposed to be. And I'll point those hypocrisies out. Like, if you're 365-day year activists, then the initiatives that we had in the Big Phone Home 3 should have been for you. If Mick West could sign it, I mean, I had over almost 400 tweets going out to congressmen, senators, lawmakers on the 19th of August that I put together. Okay, not one of them was liked, shared, promoted by anyone at UAP Media UK, Andy McGrillen, The Signal, all of these so-called activists, all of these so-called 365-day-a-year guys. Why? Because I have not attacked them. Why did they ignore this event? I'm okay. They're allowed to ignore the event. But I mean, it's just weird. It's very strange, especially when I promote and financially support their things. And it's the part that upsets me is they never get hit with being in it for entertainment or UFOtainment or in it for the clicks or in it for the money or in it for the super chats. They never get that. But yet they make infinitely more money than I do. Infinitely more. And I'm going to point out how much money that UFO podcast makes, because I want to point out the hypocrisies and the dangers in that kind of money and what you might protect with that kind of income. And I'm sick of the attacks, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Because I had to go and put on SpongeBob for my son. So let me get this straight. So now you're going to go after Andy from that UFO podcast? Is that what I'm understanding now?
Yeah, you just whittled down everything I said to one simple little thing that makes me sound like a scumbag. Tune in later today. Tune in later today to get my entire rundown on everything and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling and why I'm pointing out the people that I'm pointing out. Because Christopher Wolford, if you can attack me for UFOtainment, if Sean Cahill can attack me for UFOtainment, it's time to turn the tables and start attacking other channels for actual UFOtainment. That's it.
I don't even have a channel. I really only have a Twitter.
Again, you're missing my points, and I hope that is as transparent to your audience as it is to me.
I don't have an audience.
Lou, what would it take to like reach out like an olive branch and like make amends?
I've sent out olive branches, Logan, for over a year. I reached out. Man, when I tell you the story that I have about Sean Cahill at a round table to organize the first big phone home, and you hear the answer and belittlement that I got in the first meeting, you'll start to understand why. I've bit my lip, Logan, for a long time, and I've offered olive branches to Christopher. I've offered olive branches to Joe Murgia. I've offered olive branches to Sean Rash. Even when those guys speak ill of me, on my show, anyone who is here will fess up and stick up for me when I say even with all of those things that they've done to me, I've promoted Joe Murgia's work when he does something that I'm like, hell yeah, man, that's awesome. I promote Katie Howland's political efforts. Okay, Katie Howland, who gave me an insane cold shoulder when I tried to help her with her political event a few weeks ago. And then when I reached out to her and said, hey, just take a look at our website. If there's anything we can improve upon, we'd love to get your opinion. But she never reached out because she hates me so much because of the things that have been leaked into her ear by Sean Rash and J. Christopher King and Chris Wolford and all these guys. She won't even interact with me when the olive branches are
you need
extended.
to take a look in the mirror. Stop blaming everyone else. If people don't like you, maybe it's because of your own behavior. I mean, stop blaming.
Right.
I mean, it's
and what
lame.
Behavior is that, sir?
I mean, you're latching. Have you seen your Twitter account in like the last couple of days, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like that's.
And part of the reason. You're whittling down my life and my work to the last week of me being angry and upset. Look at my Twitter account since the beginning. Before that, I've been pretty damn cordial. I've been pretty damn nice. I've been pretty damn silent.
Your show kneecaps people, bro. If you kneecap people, it's the sock puppet gate, the text gate, all of that stuff.
How is the facts of sock puppets? And again, just
you tried to.
Hold on a second, sir. You're ignoring the fact that of today's 395 shows, and we've done 2 shows about sock puppets. That doesn't make any sense. The percentage of that is inaccurate.
The worst thing that you do, right? If you kneecap somebody on your show who's a very popular person,
how do I kneecap people on my show?
You made a big deal about it. Someone having a sock puppet account that was relatively innocent. He wasn't going around manipulating masses of people. That wasn't happening.
Stop breaking that down as just this innocent little thing.
It was.
It's manipulation. It
definitely was. It was not manipulation. That is a dishonest representation of him having that alt account.
He said that he's doing it to collect information.
And that's dishonest too. He's collecting information personally. He used the word intelligence or something like he was collecting intel, and you all made it seem like it was some psyop. The guy is from the military. Of course he's going to use that verbiage. I don't think it's as dripping with intent as you make it seem.
Well, and I don't think it's as discussed as much as you make it seem. And that's fact. Because,
I never said you had 50 shows. I said you kneecapped him.
No, but you sure are hinting at... You said we kneecap people and that all we do is focus on this.
Did you kneecap Sean on a show?
We have 2 shows out of 395 that focused on this fact this very real manipulative information gathering fact.
You kneecapped him when he wasn't even there. You started talking about how
Dude,
bad sock puppets were and he wasn't even there.
Maybe okay. Maybe because he called my co-host mother a whore.
He used it as an example.
Oh, okay. So that's okay.
Dude.
How about fuck you?
Nobody called
How about
him.
fuck you, Lou?
Okay.
How about fuck you?
Jesus Christ. Who gave this?
Nice.
Now, hey guys, let's not attack
Hey,
Lou.
let's not attack Lou.
He's a
Anybody
great.
can go
Attack
back
Lou
and
because he's a
watch this
fucking
clip.
piece of shit who negs on bets and isn't worth
Jesus
shit. Just like his
Christ.
word isn't worth shit because he's a piece of
Dude.
shit. Fuck
Who shit in your cereal, bro? Hey,
hold on. Let's keep it simple.
And there you have it. The representation of everything that has angered me.
You suck. You suck.
Can I say something?
The representation of the last year and a half of my life whittled down into 10 seconds. Goodbye.
All right, listen, King Milkfort, calm down, man. Okay, we're hashing this out. I don't think we're going to get anywhere.
No, you're right.
We're still hashing this
I'm
out.
cool. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm not mad at you. It's Lou left. Lou left. That's cool. Whatever.
I probably don't blame him for leaving after that, but you know, he does kind of bring it on himself a little bit here. Like, I know he's blaming everyone else for not liking him, but I think there is some level of responsibility he has in this. He did kneecap somebody on his show, right? A couple of people. He's kneecapped other podcasters like Sean from Witness Citizen. Like, he's had it out with him on the show, and sure, they make nice afterwards. He's dishonest about the sock puppet thing, in my opinion, and I don't think I'm not alone in that opinion. That I think the sock puppet thing was really blown out of proportion. Did it while Lou wasn't even on the show for the next episode. He has people like Green Street on the show and makes pretend like he doesn't believe in all the crazy racist posts that the guy's made. He can't even like articulate the actual question. So there is some level of people going, okay, but you're not being completely honest. So I think some of this, Lou coming on here and saying, I don't have any responsibility in the way people view me, I don't think that's a real way to go about handling a situation you don't like.
Yeah, and listen, I don't hate the guy. I just don't care for his show, and I don't care for the guests that he has that disparages Sean Cahill, Lou Elizondo, Gary Nolan, any of those guys, because really at the end of the day, UCR is not the one that has gotten the ball rolling. It was Lou and the game. And we all have to remember that. I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. I'm trying to be better. People who know the real me notice that I'm trying to be better. I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to sit there and say like I don't know. My behavior, with Lou from UCR has been bad at points, but I tried to ignore him. When he like quotes my tweet and then have people make fun of my learning disabilities and my dyslexia, yeah, of course I'm going to get pissed. And I still stand by the whole Keith Core thing. Whether he wants to believe that, that's his prerogative. Tupac, you get your hand up, and then we'll have to end this here shortly because I do have to go.
Cool. That was not a good illustration of the community. That was weird. The booing and cussing part of that was kind of strange. I understand people are going to raise their voice and stuff, but I'm not here to judge anybody. I guess. Well, I am. Yeah, let's judge Lou Angeles for a second. I think he's a public figure, but he's a person. He's not like a trained figure. I think we look at people who are like hosts sometimes, like they are like Ellen DeGeneres or Oprah. Like they have to have that type of candor and that type of poise all the time, and they don't. We should be forgiving of people who, maybe. And I think like saying like he kneecapped guest is very extreme. Because like I've seen people get, I remember Jerry Springer where they'll bring out the person someone cheated on someone with, and that's a kneecapping. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, you said you didn't do that? Well, how about this person? That's a kneecapping. They just asked hard questions and thought that for a second they were like hardcore journalists. I think that's different, and I think people because they're not paid professionals or let's say like real figureheads in the community. I mean, why not give them why not give each other a little bit of wiggle room here to fuck up, to make mistakes, but to continue to like drill them as if we can bully them out of the community because they asked a dumb question too many times or whatever. I don't really see the merit in that. I'm not saying that Lou's recent tweets are warranted or anything. I'm not that, but like the reaction to it is kind of bizarre when all they did was ask kind of like maybe some could say a stupid question, some could say a hardball question, some could say that they were trying to make a name for themselves by being tough journalists.
Did you
wrong
watch
people.
the episodes, Sean? I mean, like literally, they smeared the guy over the sock puppet. It wasn't just, oh, we asked him if he had a sock puppet account. It was, Lou isn't trustworthy. He's manipulative. He's collecting intelligence, right? It was an entire smear job. So again, I maintain my description. I respect that you disagree with
totally
it.
fair.
And
totally
yeah, I mean, Tupac.
It's not just asking questions.
No, it's
I
totally
have to
fair.
agree with
totally
Mike
fair.
here that looking up to dear leader John Greenwald, who is not a journalist. Repeat, he is not a journalist. If he's a journalist, then where does he work? He doesn't work for any newspaper or news organization. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. And I don't know. Like, again, UCR can do their thing. That's fine. But for full transparency, Sean Cahill and I are friends. And I have no problem with Sean throwing down a copyright strike for a image. I have no problem with that. If
I
Lou
don't
freaked out about that, so be it. That's his prerogative.
It's legal. It was done however it was done, and it seemed like it was a kind of a hardball play, right? An answering to another hardball play, which was posting the video and the thumbnail in the first place, right?
Well,
so I can totally see that.
Sometimes, Chris, you gotta go hard sometimes. But go ahead, whoever's talking.
It's Joe. I'm on my way to work. I know you're ending. I'm just joining in. Yeah, he's had chance after. We privately were like, let's give the guy another chance. He's a good guy, and that's like chance after chance after chance. So let him do his thing. I mean, I'm really not going to spend any time on him anymore. Last night, Sean and I are not close, but I defended the copyright because it wasn't what it was made out to be. It's just like, take a second why your video was removed. It wasn't stifling dissent, and all of the skeptics joined in, including Greenwald. No, it was the picture. I wouldn't want my picture. So, I mean, my picture is associated with their show because they have my website on their promo, whatever. I don't care anymore. It's like to the point where it's like they've gone. It's a meltdown, and we've seen it before. You remember that guy? You guys, a lot of you don't remember. There was a guy who was a giant TTSA fan. We called him a fanboy. I think it was Matt. Do you remember him, Chris?
Yeah, I do. The guy who listen, I'm going to go there for a second. Wasn't he a big Trumper too?
He may have been. I remember he said something, and everybody was like,
I
what
want
did
to
you
say
say?
he
And I
was
was
from
like,
Florida. Yeah.
And he sunk. He met Lou. He got a picture with Lou's daughter. He was totally positive, but it was a meltdown. I was like, I felt bad for the guy. He came back for a little, and then he disappeared again. But anyway, I got to go to work.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Joe, I mean, I respect everybody's everybody has their own interactions with everyone else. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and we can do what we want. But I find it ironic. If I was looking at this from the outside. Sorry, Joe, your mic's on.
Hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
If I was looking at this from the outside, I think this would be concerning because, like, here we have people who are saying, no, like, some of this stuff is warranted for logical reasons, give them a chance. But then what I saw was King Milkfart pops in and boos the guy, cusses him out, and it's like free pass on that behavior. But please, so where is the line of what's allowed to be a figurehead of the community? I can sit here and cuss at you guys and boo you based on my opinion of your post, and I get free pass. But if I host a show and talk about the wrong topic, then I'm out.
I mean, to speak on that, Chris did say calm down. I said calm down. A few others did as well.
Yeah, I mean, I did mute his mic too, Tupac. So, and he laughed when he came back.
People can do people can behave how they want to. You're running your own space. I just said if I was from the outside, I would be wondering, like, of course you guys sound, totally rational. The judgments sound rational. You guys have your own private interactions with Lou. I only had private ones, DMs here and there, and then watching the show, which I was, to be honest, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like kind of the Sports Center observational, like, let's talk about this paperwork. It's not my cup of tea. I like weird stuff. So, like, parts of the phenomenon. So I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I was #1 fan or I'm defending him by any means. But I'm just saying, looking at the conversation as a whole, wondering why we're sitting here allowed to be arbiters of the the community, to set the tone in some way and allow certain people to have these conversations. At what cost? Like, do we need to work on not only our ability to judge each other, but also the tact of how we like, enact that judgment? Because some of it's just it deserves a second look.
Well,
because people are
Tupac,
watching.
the only way, and sorry for interrupting, the only way I can best articulate is I had high hopes for UCR. I supported them. I was on the first Big Phone Home, though my internet took a dump and then I wasn't. And I supported them, and I thought it was going to be a great opportunity for the community to get together. Lou Elizondo said the same thing, thought the same thing, and then something changed. I think what Lou from UCR, where his wires got crossed, is the whole sock puppet account. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm not going to throw any shade at Lou. He's a former counterintelligence person. That's what they do. You're not going to take it out of them. I would do the same friggin' thing. So what? Again, one of the first things I will say to all new people is you will be lied to at some point. It's just the way it is.
To collect intelligence for his massive psyop, like that's my problem.
No,
Like,
no,
right?
no.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
What was presented. That was what was presented and said about him. Right? Is that it was suspicious, and I'm like, maybe it wasn't a great look, but I really don't buy that line, and that was where my problem was.
No,
it almost seemed to me that they tried to over validate their original suspicions, and they doubled down on the wrong places. And they tried to then raise suspicions on people that some would consider good people, veterans. I'm a fan of Lou Elizondo as far as the information he's brought forward and the way he does it. I have no criticisms about that. I've never watched the Who's Lou documentary. I don't give this shit time of my day. There's so much more of this field to really dive into. But I do feel like, I had my own criticisms when they drilled John Ramirez. I thought that was kind of wild.
Rather McSweeney privately told me that he thinks John Ramirez is dangerous. So, I mean,
hold on. People who think highly logical, the Richard Dawkinses and the wannabe Christopher Hitchens or whatever, these people consider woo thought to be the most dangerous thing in society because they that's their right. But they do. I know people who really think that anything woo is just all out bullshit and there to take advantage of somebody's misconceptions or ignorance of the way things really work. And in that sense, it's like, there's tons of people like that out there.
And I want to give this to everybody. And Mike can attest to this because we were in the same ATIP group on Facebook way back in the day, 2018 timeframe. I'm not going to say their name, but I'm going to give you enough clues that you could figure out who it is. A very famous scientist who's been blowing up. He had a conversation with myself. This is before Lou came out. That whoever this person was working with, they were making a list of who's naughty and who's nice. I understand that's the way that they always do things. It is what it is. There's always going to be lists. They want to know who they can work with and who they can't. And I can't. I'm not going to defend that they shouldn't do that. It is what it is. I don't know why people get so. I guess maybe people worry that they're trying to manipulate the community, but that's not where this person was coming from. They literally wanted to know who is good and who is bad. And it wasn't like I was giving them who was good and who's bad, but they had shared with me that, yeah, we know who's naughty and who's nice and who's going to be able to be worked with and who's not. And I will share this. For example, this same scientist, Gary Nolan, there I said it, I pissed him off in 2019 when I did something very stupid on Twitter. And I have paid the ultimate price for that. But guess what I did? I went and emailed him and said I'm sorry profusely, and he accepted my apology. Now, since then, I was high one night after some edibles because I was in pain, and I accidentally liked a tweet that he was not happy with, and that's the only way I can take it. Is he saw that I liked the tweet, and he blocked me again. I don't hate Gary Nolan for that. It's just the way it is. So, all right, let's go real quick, and then I got to get going. To King, talk, say your say your whatever you got to say real quick.
Oh no, I was just about to start making some steak. I just wanted to pop in. Sorry I came in a little hot there earlier. It's just that that giant piece of shit was in here, so I couldn't really restrain myself from letting him know that he's a giant piece of shit. But I didn't mean to kill the vibe. I just wanted to let that one specific piece of shit.
We got the point.
Okay, sorry.
Yo, Dave Scott's here. Let's get it over to SOR.
Dave, what's up? Did Chris Mania go wild or what?
Dude, the Chrisomania is going absolutely nuts, and Cherry Pepsi Mike is feeding it all night long to everybody. It's been fantastic.
I'm glad I can please.
Hey, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I can understand there's a lot of tensions high with everything, but I'm not defending Lou Angeles at all, but I will say this as a radio show host and a journalist as well. One thing that we have to remember is there's a lot of people who are working hard on different subjects, and we may not agree with everything. But the one thing that I would say is a lot of us who gain a little bit of popularity tend to get a lot of information. And the sad part about it is the majority of that information we cannot release because we've told people that it's, hey, let's have this conversation off the record. I mean, I've had so many conversations off the record with Lou Elizondo, with Sean Cahill, with Gary Nolan, and even listeners of mine like Cherry Pepsi Mike and I have had many of great hours long conversations about what's going on in the community. And I think at times what happens, because a lot of the show hosts do not have a journalism background or an understanding of what's private and what's not, their frustration allows a lot of this information or private text conversations to come out when they hear something that they don't agree with. Look, there's things that I do that I don't even agree with, but you have to, because you have to call it down the middle. At least that's what I try and do. Not that I'm trying to put myself on a pedestal or anything like that, but you look at what Ross Coulthart and Bryce Zabel with their disclosure video that they just did. I thought it was called down the middle perfectly. It wasn't one-sided. It wasn't the other sided. It wasn't pro-disclosure. It wasn't anti-disclosure. They just called it with the facts, and that's what we need more of. And I think a lot of that would kill a lot of this infighting that we see. I mean, like I look at Joe Mergia, who chatted in here just a few minutes ago. Joe and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but damn it, that guy works hard. Okay, he works hard, and we have to be able to recognize a lot of the hard work that people are doing. It may not be what we agree with all the time, but you know what, at least they're taking positive steps in trying to move the ball forward. And I think at times we're so emotionally wrapped up in this subject that we forget the emotional state that everybody goes through. And I just wanted to say hello and go team.
Thank you so much, Dave, for that. Let's go with Tupac and then Mike, and then I got to end this.
Oh, my hand wasn't up, but I just want to say, interesting conversation. Glad you hosted the space. These conversations are never really easy. It's good to know, kind of take the pulse of what's going on. I think, Dave, that was a really good way to put it. Like people are still grinding. People are working hard. They're trying their best to do stuff. We're going to make mistakes as people. We're not held up to any contract to behave any certain way, do any certain thing. And, it's a fluid kind of deal. So allow people to kind of, I don't know, fuck up, fuck around, throw bad ideas out there sometimes, make bad mistakes. And then, if it's within reason, maybe they'll figure this out. I mean, this topic is changing all the time. Not all of us have access to insider information, and we're just taking the best guesses we can with the information we have in front of us. Some of our experiences are limited to the interpersonal networking type things, where that you're engaging with the community. You know what I mean, as a professional or as in a Rolodex. Some of us are engaged with it, you know, on another level. Some of us are seeing things. Some of us are hearing things, you know, feeling things that lower people aren't, and it's due to the phenomenon. So that's going to give you a different approach to it too. So I've just found a lot. The spectrum's wide, but go ahead, Dave.
I think you nail it right on the head. But the advice, and Tupacabra, I know you've been coming into my show quite a bit over the last few weeks, and I appreciate that. Thank you. But I'm sure you've noticed me saying, and Mike, you've probably heard me say this a number of times too. One thing that we as a community have to do is we have to learn how to read the information between the lines of what's truly going on. There's a lot of people out there right now who are having different agendas for what they want their disclosure to be. And whether that's Elizondo, whether that's Stephen Greer, whether that's NASA or whomever. And what we as the citizens and the peons trying to decipher all of this need to do is take the time before we speak on Twitter or whatever and really read between the lines of what these people are saying. Because trust me on this, if you do that, it really does paint a colorful picture of what is going on and what is good for the community, what is good for or bad for the experiencers, and the wool that some of them are even trying to pull over our eyes. And so really, everybody, if you take anything from what I say, read between the lines a little bit more before you react, because the story may not be what you think it is.
Yeah, and I'll finish up on my piece. I'll leave Chris as I think when we talk about responsibility, if you have a publication to a large audience, I'm not saying you have to like censor yourself, but you do need to take ownership, right? Like, from my heart to any of those UCR people, honest to God, like, you guys got to take responsibility for the environment you create, right? Like, people didn't just like flip on a switch one day and say, oh, we don't like UCR, we don't like what they're saying. You know, there were calculated attempts to take people down with disingenuous narratives. That's my opinion. And if other people share that opinion, I don't think anyone here is making anyone have an opinion, right? Other people arrive to those conclusions. I don't have a show. Chris doesn't have a show. Most of these people don't have shows. Sam hosts spaces. He puts out artwork. Like, nobody is twisting anyone's arm to believe anything. So if these are the conclusions that a lot of people are arriving at, I really suggest the UCR folks take a look in the mirror and say, wow, am I responsible for this? You know, instead of saying it's everyone whispering in everyone else's ear. No, we see what's going on. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to Lou, but if he's going to run around saying Lou Elizondo is collecting intelligence on people, and I'm not saying he's saying that, but this is being broadcast on a show without any real pushback, I think these things are just, kneecap attempts, disingenuous narratives. But
I could not agree more. And I think the big question that when you said they need to take a long, hard look in the mirror is they need to ask themselves, why are they doing this? It's not a matter of what are they doing to get the entire community completely up against them. It's they know damn well what they're doing, and
I agree. I think some of it is playing into, there are audiences, right? Like, at first, UCR was trying to play into the alien scientist audience who had 100,000 subs, right? So there is that YouTube element, right? They're trying to get viewers, right? And I think part of that attempt right now, and I could be wrong, is to get the Black Vault viewership involved in their show, right? There's a lot of Black Vault crossover Patreon and audience members who are also into UCR. And I think, they know to an extent that's also their bread and butter. So they've kind of taken the Black Vault, who has a very critical view of Lou Elizondo, in my opinion, and they've incorporated that to help pull in viewers, to help say, hey, my show's more legitimate. Come see us. And that's kind of soured on some people. So, I think that's just, I'm not saying anybody's wrong or right here, but, like Dave says, you got to call it down the middle. All right, Chris, I'm out.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I hate to do this, but literally, hold on. Hold on. Tars is my good buddy. I'm going to let him go, and then I'm going to let Katie go, and then you'll get the last word. And then I got to go, guys. I have to go. So, Tars, you're up.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'll keep it very, very short. I just wanted to echo what Dave had mentioned, about reading between between the lines, and that's a very, very difficult thing to do sometimes, but oftentimes very necessary. I think where I sit, a lot of the
anyone out there has
resentment
just in that other
is
UFO
bubbling from is
space.
individuals within the community
like
who
UAP
rely
Mike
on
has got
what I
something.
term
Oh, no, that's
extreme empiricism.
I suggest
right?
going to Hive1.
And that's to say that unless there's a
Answers.
document that says
I was
X,
just
Y,
in
and
that
Z, they
other
will not believe
UFO
anything. Unless there's
space.
definitive proof X, Y, Z. And
think
the real
UAP
world
Mike
just
has
doesn't
got
operate that way. You have to take certain liberties. Even myself working at a university, when I do research and when I write papers and I'm an art historian, so obviously I wasn't around when Giotto or Leonardo da Vinci or Van Gogh or anybody was around. So I rely a lot on documents, and I try to put the best pieces together to be able to tell what I hope is a sincere and authentic narrative of what's actually going on. And so my advice to other people would be to please just kind of take a step back, realize we're all human beings, we're all hopefully fighting for the same thing, and to just be more humble about your approach. And we don't need to attack people. I think it's fine to attack ideas. I think ideas should be weighed and encountered very robustly and very vigorously. But let's keep it at interrogating the ideas and not going after people and personalities. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Tars. Katie, you're up.
Hey everyone, this is actually my first time participating in a spaces, so thanks for letting me chat real quick. I just want to echo what was just said about attacking ideas, not people. I just found out that I was just attacked by name by UCR in another space. I don't know if it was this one or a different one, simply because I didn't respond to a DM. And I'm sorry, I'm coming in here because a lot of people don't know me. I've been around for about 4 months, and I think I've done a very good job of trying to be kind to people. And the reason I'm bringing this up is not because I want to pat myself on the back or play the victim or anything. It's because you don't know what people are going through in their personal lives. And I think we all need to take a step back and just lead with kindness, straight up. There may be hurt feelings on multiple sides for a lot of reasons, but when you're attacking people like me who haven't even engaged directly just because of people I'm friends with, that's just childish. It's not necessary. It's not helpful to anyone. I'm sorry.
Sorry, who's talking?
This is Katie Howland. I don't even have a show. You know what I mean? I'm being attacked because of who I'm friends with. And I think that is exactly indicative of what the problem is here. And I am not going to engage with folks who do that. And I don't think anyone needs to apologize for not engaging with people who are purposely just trying to stir up shit. So I hope that other people who don't know me can see that and know that I have done nothing negative to anyone in this community, to my knowledge. But I hope that we all just lead from a place of kindness because, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on. And trying to go after people personally for any reason is just plain unnecessary.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for letting me chat.
Katie, I hereby crown you.
Good. Have you
my
been
friend. So if
ever
anyone's got a problem
in a
with
UFO
Katie, they
Twitter
got a
space?
problem with me.
Me too. I would
Right, lad.
definitely second that because Katie's been nothing but kind and nice.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad.
UFO
She doesn't even
Twitter.
follow me, and I follow her, and it's
Good.
amazing.
Have you
She
been
always is very
ever
knowledgeable about
in a
everything
UFO
that she
Twitter
does.
space?
So,
Define
I don't
that
know.
last
It
word,
was
sorry,
really
English. I don't-
unfortunate and really weird why he did what he did. So, whatever. Zork,
no, I haven't
you're up,
actually.
and then I
I,
gotta
I
go
only
make
very
sure they kill me.
recently
So,
had some sort of encounter with them. Before
Okay,
that,
cool.
I thought
This
it
was
was a
rather
bit
quick.
bollocks.
I just noticed that
But
we got
now
a
I'm
rather here. I know
pretty on
the
board, I
space is
reckon.
ending soon, but maybe we can get into how he approaches
Oh,
guests.
Yeah.
Specifically, John
We're
Ramirez
just outside the other day, lad,
and others.
just staring at the sky, and there was this big like floating object, and literally it took like 5 seconds. It just
See, my
disappeared into
son is very
clouds, and my
pissed right
mate,
now.
he was like
Sorry.
banging into UFOs, like he's got a tattoo on his arm,
Katie,
and
that's
that.
really unfortunate. I didn't
It
know
was
that
just
anything
like
was
we
happening.
weren't
This is
supposed to
like,
see that at
I guess
all,
it's a
and
live,
I just believed him. Do you know, you just
ever-changing,
believe
evolving
someone.
situation. So
And I
yeah,
was like,
I'll throw it
I don't
open.
think I was.
Anybody's welcome
You
to pop
asking
in
me?
there.
Yeah, Tupac's gonna host the space. I
Interesting.
gotta go be an
Uh,
here because
Weird one.
yeah, that's what is
I
causing
mean,
my
probably
attention
Joe
right now.
Rogan.
So
When I
Matt,
started to
what
see the
was
Tic Tac
I didn't
videos
do
on the
anything.
Joe
I
Rogan
hopefully you
Experience,
guys enjoyed this space.
You asking me?
and
No,
Commander
you? Yeah.
Fravor on Lex Friedman podcast, I was like, okay, these are real.
I mean,
And
probably
so,
Joe Rogan.
because I just trusted
the Tic Tac videos,
and Ryan Graves and him talking about. There's just so much evidence now.
and
You have
Commander
to like
Fravor
recognize these are real things.
Lex Friedman
So the next
podcast.
question is, what are they? And
I
I was
was like,
just
okay,
in
these are
the
real.
first
And
UFO
so,
Twitter
because I just trusted
live stream or
and
Twitter
Ryan
space
Graves and him talking
on
about. There's
that
just so
I've
much
seen,
evidence now.
and man, they were talking about.
So the next question is, what are
Lou
they?
Elizondo,
I was
some
just
big
in
blow up that's
first
happening in the
UFO
Twitter community.
Twitter,
But anyways, I wanted to start a
live
space where
stream
people could talk
or
about
Twitter space
UFOs
on
and
that
not
I've
talk
seen,
about Lou
and man, they
Elizondo
were
and whatever
talking.
big controversies happen. So if anyone wants to
Or
speak,
maybe they're still talking
just
about
raise.
Lou Elizondo.
You guys can just talk
big
about
blow up
it
that's
in
happening
whatever way you
in the
want.
UFO Twitter community. Anyways, I wanted to start a space where people could talk about UFOs and not talk about Lou Elizondo and whatever big
I've never seen
controversies happen.
one.
So if anyone
I've just
wants to
heard people
speak,
describe them.
just raise. You guys can just talk about it in whatever way you want.
Like, what type of UFOs do you believe in? Like, what do you think they look like? Like, have you seen one?
I've never seen one.
No.
I've just heard people describe them.
Yeah, that is Raj. To be fair, it's mad.
One day I was walking through there in the park like one day, and when I saw these little lights, in the sky. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. That. And I thought, wow. I saw some random object. I can't explain the shape of it, and I was a bit like,
mad.
Weird. This it wasn't a plane because I was actually plane watching. I had flight radar open.
He knows planes, like he does.
I love planes, and yeah, so I was just walking through the park, spotting planes, and
right,
this flying object, it came not above us, but in the distance. That was with me, pal.
Me.
Yeah, and yeah, it was real. This weird flying object, weird shape. It proper sent me head scatty, and I just can't explain. So, I'm a big believer in UFOs. I was always a bit skeptical. I can't say that word.
You said it right, lad. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, I'm a bit autistic. Sorry, but yeah, until that day, never believed in them. But now that
It
was a
is
UFO.
mental
That
how
was an
one thing can just change
unidentified flying
everything.
object. It can. It's like Everton appointing Rafa as manager. We're doing well.
Right. Of course it is, lad. What do you like to drink, lad? I like tropical juice from Sainsbury's.
You know what? In work, we have these mango and passion fruit smoothies, and I think they are heavy.
Yeah, lad.
And if I was talking a UFO, that's the drink I'd want with me.
I was saying the other day, imagine how mad it would be if you got abducted by a UFO stone. No one would believe you,
Well,
like,
thanks.
ever.
That was a great space. Good job, guys.
Episode of South
And
Park
we'll wrap it up there.
Cartman gets an
Yeah.
anal probe.
Right.
Thanks. That was a great space. Good job, guys. And
thanks, Matt.
Impressive.
Have a good night, kid. Look.
Nice.
This is so impressive.
Well done.
Nice.
Well,
yeah.
I just nearly spat me tab out.
Sorry, mate.
That was well done.
I've got multiple personality disorder, as well as
that
autism.
Was his mate,
so
Ken.
Yeah, it's the other person. Oh, fucking hell. Get back in the
He's a
end.
screamer, like. He's a screamer, this is. This Ken character.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
he's back!
What are you talking about?
What are we gonna do now,
Man, I
lad?
wish I
What are we
could
gonna
stay. I
do?
have to get on a phone call. But I'll start up another space. Thank you, you two. You've been a
Lad, what are
great
we gonna
help.
do about
You've it's
Don't
like
get abducted,
I
lad?
feel like we've established a nice international comedic flow together, and
But I'll start up another
you
space.
guys,
Thank you, you two.
well done, well done. You're
Thanks,
very,
lad.
very,
It's
very
like
We
I feel
disturbing.
really
like
Very
enjoyed it, lad.
scary.
established a nice
It's like
international comedic
it's
flow
like an episode of like that.
yeah. You
So
guys,
well done.
well done, well done. Very disturbing, very scary. It's like an episode of so.
Just for the record,
Yeah.
I did not get
So
burned.
good. Thanks for
Just for
joining.
the
We'll see you
record,
again
Matt,
next time.
I want a refund on my
Yeah.
fence. You won like a nan's painted all wonky,
Well
the
done.
useless
Well done.
tramp.
All right. All right.
Yeah. So good. Thanks for joining. We'll see you again next time.
Cheers, Matt.
Gotta get on a phone call, but I'll start another one. I really don't want to end it, but I've got it.
Well done. Well done. All right.
Can you do a Scooby Doo impression, Matt? That's Ben.
Gotta get on a phone call, but I'll start another one. I really don't want to end it.
Is your ma